All right. Well, hey, everyone. If you've never done this before, we do these Zooms on Thursdays. My name is Emily Roberts, and if I'm not your diamond upline, I'm probably your diamond sideline. And you saw this in our group chat or our team page. And I am so excited for this month and for the things that you guys have already been accomplishing. We've almost added 200 new ambassadors, and we are only 13 days into August. So you guys have been working very hard, and it shows. And I'm just obsessed. I'm obsessed with you guys. I'm so proud of you. Go ahead and share your August goals in the chat. Y'all don't know that, but y'all encourage each other every time you share them. Y'all did this on the last Zoom, and y'all shared your affirmations and your goals. And I got so many private messages after the Zoom thanking me and saying, can we do this all the time, because it really inspires me to see what other people are working on. Because there's people that are just getting started like some of you, and there's people that have been here for 5 to 6 years like me. So I don't know who this person is. If it's a flasher, I apologize, but I'm going to admit them. But they don't have a name. So hopefully it's somebody we know. Okay. All right, everybody. Awesome. Well, I want to keep going. The Traveler's Gift was the Plexus Book Club book last month, and I finished it, and just the last couple of chapters were so good. I totally recommend this for anybody starting their own business, especially Plexus. I love the 7 tips for success that Andy Andrews writes through this character and through the things he goes through. But y'all, it's probably one of the best books I've read in a long time. It reminded me of the Go for No book that I used to recommend. And it's amazing. So that's what I want to dive into tonight. So if you're new here, what we do is I share a good word, and then we talk about affirmations, and we talk kindly to ourselves, and we talk about our goals. And your homework and your takeaway from this is to go into your group chats and share 3 to 5 affirmations, which I'm going to give you examples of affirmations at the end of this. But let's talk about the last couple chapters of this book. So something that I've had to rewire my brain and retrain my brain to do and understand is having an attitude of gratitude. I don't know about you guys and how old your children are. Mine are young. They are 2, 4, and 6. And having an attitude of gratitude is either 100% as a kid or 0% as a kid, right? They either have full tantrums or they love the fact that you just handed them a paperclip because they think it's the coolest thing ever, right? And so I want to have an attitude of gratitude every day. I think I totally agree with Andy Andrews. That is his 5th decision that you have to make to be successful is I choose to be happy today. And the affirmation is today I will choose to be happy, because it's a choice. The fruit of the Spirit that the Bible says is joy. And so if you are experiencing joy, that's incredible, because that is a fruit of the Spirit. But happiness is a choice because it's temporary. It's a temporary emotion. It's a temporary feeling. It's like a high that a lot of us chase. And the thing about happiness is many of us attach it to a futuristic goal or a futuristic thing that we feel, I will be happy when blank. How many of you have said that before? I will be happy if I lose 10 pounds during this challenge. I will be happy when I hit the rake of gold. I will be happy when I make $500 in my Plexus business. I will be happy if I stay under my carb count this week, right? Or anything like that. I will be happy when I get married and meet the man of my dreams. I will be happy when I finally have kids. You feel free to share examples in the chat, but all of us have associated happiness with some temporary thing or some futuristic thing. Yeah, you agree? Shake your head if you agree. Yes? Okay. And so he talks about choosing to be happy. And for me, that's having an attitude of gratitude. Just like I choose to make my bed every morning when I wake up, I'm choosing to be thankful for the things I do have. And I sure as heck am going to work harder for the things I don't have. I'm not going to throw a fit about it. I'm not even going to get depressed and sad about it anymore. I'm going to choose to be happy while I work towards it. So something that my mindset coach that I worked with a little while ago, Preston Pugmire, you can follow him on Instagram. He taught us how to go down the rabbit hole of happiness, but he also taught us how to go up the rabbit hole of happiness. I have a whole other call on this, but I want to kind of cover it again one more time because we have some new faces. So if you are struggling with attaching happiness to a goal or a situation or something you haven't done yet in your business or in your life, I want you to think of it this way. So for me personally, when he did this rabbit hole of nonsense with me, it was, Emily, what are you working on in your business right now? And at the time, y'all, this is crazy. You ready for this full circle moment? This was 18 months ago. At the time, I wrote down on my notebook when he asked me this, I said, I will be happy when Scott is emerald and I have diamond points again. I was associating my happiness with my husband's plexus rank up. Not even my own work, but my husband's rank up. How many of you have done that? I'll be happy when I have 5 golds on my team. I'll be happy when I have 14 silvers on my team. How come we can't choose to be happy right now for the people that are on our team in the first place and be happy that they've started this incredible journey, right? Perspective, okay? So he asked me that, and that's what I wrote down in my notebook. I'm going to find that notebook and show y'all in the chat later, because it's just crazy that I wrote that down. And he said, okay, so you'll be happy when your husband's emerald and you have diamond points again. So what will that mean for you, for him to be emerald and for you to be diamond? And I said, well, that will have meant that I worked my hardest and we hit those goals. And he goes, okay, so what will that, like, you'll be happy by working that hard and reaching those goals. So what does that mean? Like, what does working so hard towards that mean? I'm like, well, if I work really hard, that means I've proven myself and that my time being poured in my plexus business was worth it, right? And he's like, okay, so your time, the time you're pouring into your business is attached to your futuristic happiness for this rank that you're going after. And I was like, yeah. And he was like, okay, so the work you're putting into your business, it would be worth it. So what would that mean? I'm like, well, if I don't hit those goals and I'm putting all this time into a business and spending less time with my family, that would not feel good. And he was like, well, what would that feel like? And I said, well, I would make me feel like a crappy mom. And he's like, so what you're telling me is you're a crappy mom because your husband's not emerald and because you're not reaching diamond points. And I was like, no wonder I feel like crap every day. Because I was telling myself, I am not happy because I'm not blank. You guys, happiness is a choice. You don't have to be emerald to be happy. You don't have to be gold to be happy. You don't have to be 30 pounds less in weight to be happy. Your self-worth never changes. Your weight might. Your rank might change. But your self-worth, it doesn't change. You are always worthy. You are always enough. And you can choose to be happy. And I love that Andy Andrews included that in this chapter. And he talks about Anne Frank. If you don't know who Anne Frank is, my little history lesson, Anne Frank lived in Amsterdam, and she was one of the girls that was Jewish, and the Nazis were taking over, and they were killing Jews and putting them in concentration camps, right? And so she was hidden away in her father's warehouse with her family for over a year before they were found and captured. And we all know this story because of the diary she left behind that someone found and turned in. And so the chapter about choosing happiness, of all people that he could have picked to put in the chapter, is Anne Frank, a young girl that lived in a teeny tiny, 3 foot by 4 foot room with her sister in fear every day. Can you imagine that anxiety? And I feel like it's not, honestly, it's not comparable because we don't have a Nazi army coming to our doors. But right now, our world is full of fear and doubt. Yeah. And we can choose to turn off the news, and we can choose to turn off the negativity and what we're spending our time with and what we're reading, what we're listening to, right? Those little songs that you sing to your children, be careful little eyes, what you see. Be careful, little ears, what you hear. It goes the same way for adults, too. If we're constantly bombarding ourselves with negative talk or negative media or negative friends, we're not going to choose happiness. We're going to choose depression and choose anxiety. And some of those things are already deep down inside of us. But if we're choosing that path, too, we're going to feel really, really bad, right? And it's going to affect our work. It is going to affect the way we mom or wife or sister or whatever. So I just love some of the quotes that he shared, and it's all perspective, right? It's not real. It's just like as if he was having a conversation with this young girl. And what did I bookmark this page? Oh, here he goes. Anne Frank says to David Ponder, the main character, I do not complain. Papa says complaining is an activity just as jumping rope or listening to the radio is an activity. Can I get an amen? Complaining is a sport, and some people, they do that, and that could be like their Olympic goal, right? Like that's just like what they do. How many of you have a 6-year-old in your house? They are the best complainers in the whole world. You can make the most delicious, gooeyest mac and cheese, but God forbid you made it tonight because they wanted waffles for dinner, right? Like it's just how kids operate sometimes. But I want you to think about yourself. I want you to think about your own business. Have you been complaining more than you've been celebrating? Have you been complaining more than you have been, what's another word? Not celebrating, but like, have you been complaining more than you have been receiving or complimenting? That's a good one. Like, what if we did this? What if we retrained our brains and created new habits, right? It takes 21 days to form a new habit. What if we, every time we felt like complaining, right? Like, oh, I don't like that girl. I don't like the way she posts. Or oh, if this girl would just make one post, she would be freaking gold by now. You know, like how many of you, we have this like complaining nature, right? And instead, what if we just complimented them? What if that person just really needed that one compliment to make them go do that thing, right? Like, what if it really was up to us? Again, it goes down to choice, and that happiness is a choice. So, I just love what she says here. So David Ponder stares at Anne Frank and he's like, did you just say complaining is like an activity like jumping rope? Like what? He said, I don't mean any offense to what your father is teaching you, but if you taken a look around here, like, do you see that you are in like a hidden storage attic with Nazis walking around outside? Like, how could you not complain about your living arrangement? And she tilted her head to the side as if she were having a difficulty understanding. She moved the hair out of her eyes and she said patiently, our very lives are fashioned by choice, Mr. Ponder. First, we make choices, then our choices make us. Whatever you chose to do today, that makes up you. Did you choose to complain? Did you choose to gossip? Did you choose not to work and scroll around and watch Netflix? Did you choose Cheetos and a PB&J with your kids versus a grilled chicken salad? Like, your choices make up you, and they make up your habits, and that sets you up for tomorrow, right? And she says, an ungrateful person might see this place as too small for 8 people, and a diet that is limited in portions that are too meager, and 3 dresses for me and my sister that we have to share. So there's 3 girls, and her sister, they had 3 dresses. I don't know about y'all. Y'all see my closet. I love me some clothes. I don't know if I could do that. I don't know if I could rotate with my sister. Like, okay, today you get the blue dress, I get the yellow dress, you get the green dress. All right, next day, switch. Like, I don't know about that. And she says this, gratefulness is also a choice. I see an annex that hides 8 people while others are being herded away. I see food that is generously provided by someone who's risking their life to provide ration cards for us. And I see an extra dress for my sister and me, while there are surely others who don't have dresses at all. I'm choosing to be grateful and not to complain. I was bawling my eyes out reading that because I was like, I'm such an ungrateful cow. Like, what is wrong with me? Like, I was so upset. And I'm like, how can this precious girl, like, God used her in such a big way, right? Like, I'm reading this, and it's not even, like, she probably never said that. This is just what he made up. And I'm just like, what is wrong with me? Why can't I be thankful for what I do have? And my happiness is a choice. And so it was just, I don't know. It was just such a neat perspective to hear from someone, even though it was made up. And so something else that she says, so she says, today I will choose to be happy. And the second affirmation that follows that is, I will greet each day with laughter. So this is my challenge to all of you. Tomorrow morning when you wake up, do not get on Facebook. I mean, maybe go like have your husband find a silly joke, or have your kids pick out a silly joke and like write it down and put it at your bedside. Don't read it until you wake up in the morning. But I challenge you to wake up with laughter tomorrow, whether it's something funny, reading something funny, just not Facebook, not the news, not even like your devotional, like you could do that after, but waking up and greeting the day with laughter. That is just something that she affirms in this chapter, and I just like love that. And then looking into the mirror and saying this: I feel different because I am different. I am enthusiastic about today, and I am alert to all the possibilities coming my way because I am happy. Like, you just proclaim that you are happy. If you tell yourself you're happy, you're going to be happy. If you tell yourself you're mad, you're going to be mad, right? When my little kids get upset and Scarlett now repeats because Gentry does. So Gentry is 4. And he's all in his feelings right now. He's like a little Drake. And I'm like, what's wrong? And he's like, I hate this day. And I'm like, well, why do you hate this day? Why are you so upset? And he says he hates this day because he didn't get to swim first, or because Sterling ate the last Pop-Tart. Like, it's always something so silly, right? But that's his perspective from a 4-year-old's point of view of like his whole day is ruined over a Pop-Tart, right? How many of us as adults have let something ruin our entire day that's just as silly, right? Maybe it was a Pop-Tart, I don't know, but how many of us have gotten upset over just something ridiculous, or that guy at the red light cut you off and you've thought about it all day long, and if you could relive that moment, you would have gotten out of your car and you would have done this and that and whatever, and he is home eating dinner with his family. He doesn't even know that he cut you off, right? He's happy, but you can't go to sleep tonight because you're like, oh, if I see that car tomorrow, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. Scotty's like, that's me. He's over there in the corner laughing. But it's true. We choose to hate this day or hate this moment instead of choosing happiness and an attitude of gratitude, to be thankful, to even have the car to be driving in, right? To be able to be cut off. Like, what a perspective that is, okay? The second affirmation and challenge for tomorrow is, I will smile at every person I meet. This is said by a girl in an annex, hiding away for her life. And she says, I will smile at every person I meet. She ain't going to meet nobody. And if she does, hopefully it's not necessarily a Nazi army guy. But she says that was what she said is the 5th decision for success, is choosing happiness, choosing to smile at everyone. You guys, we live in such a world of technology, even in your Plexus business. I'm guilty of it too, where you are constantly, right? We don't look up. And Alec Clark, our company president, has said this at multiple Plexus events, that one of his top 10 ways to be successful is to look up. Not just like spiritually looking up, but looking up. What if we smiled at 3 new people tomorrow? Maybe that's the only smile they're going to get. Maybe they live at home with someone that is so unhappy and not choosing happiness and treats them awfully. That may be the only smile they get. So think about that. Somebody who's on here? Who can I see? Well, Taryn Mira has a beautiful picture. That's what I see right now. But Laura, Laura is on, and she is a teacher. And I love when she posts pictures. Summer always has a great smile. There's so many of you guys that when you're on Facebook, I can literally tell if you've had like a great day or if you're totally faking it. I'm like, ooh, that is not a true smile. I know she's playing around right now, but I can tell. And other people can too. You know, some of you have never met in person. I hope one day that I can. But if I can pick up on that through social media, you better believe others can, especially the ones that you see in person. So let's talk about a couple more affirmations before we wrap up. This one says, it's not an affirmation, but it was talking about like when we're choosing to be down in the dumps. Your mental health is super important, especially if you're someone that does struggle with anxiety and depression. And on page 155, it says, a person who is depressed is spending too much time thinking about the way things are now and not enough time thinking about how he wants things to be. There is a very intense podcast about anxiety and depression, and it's not like a medical doctor or anything. He just says anxiety stems from the fear of the unknown. That's just where most of it stems from. Like if you really sit down and like with a counselor or somebody that like works with you about stuff like with your anxiety and depression, they will ask you questions and it all leads to not having control or fear of the unknown or unknown possibilities. And so when he says this in this chapter, the person who's saying this to the character is Gabriel, the Lord's right hand angel man, Gabriel. He says this to David Ponder, and David Ponder is sitting there and he's like, what you mean? And he's like, your circumstances. What circumstances are you putting yourself in? and in this chapter, so just to give you a little backstory for those that haven't read the book, David Ponder is the main character. He's been in a car accident and he's going through this time warp and he's meeting 7 different people to learn how to be successful, okay? This is the 7th person that he meets and it's the angel Gabriel. And he lands in this to me it sounds like an Amazon warehouse because he sees vacuum cleaners and cords and medicine and t-shirts and like all these random things, and they're all listed out. And he's looking around, he said, for as far as he could see, the items went, and he would turn around and then he would go down one aisle and it just seemed to be a never-ending room of things. And so he finally meets Angel Gabriel, and he's like, where am I? Like, what is this place? And this is what he finally reveals to him. He said, this is the place where we keep all the things that were about to be delivered just as a person stopped working and praying for them. I was like, dang. Like when I read that, like obviously that may or may not be true. I don't know how God works up there. But if there was a place where all your answered prayers like had this special room, like think about that for a second, right? Excuse me, sir. If you're in a room, can you take your calls that way? If you're in a room and you're surrounded by somebody's answered prayers, like I was reading this and I was just like, I can't stop reading this chapter. It's so good. But envision you're in this room of things people are praying for. Many of you have seen Bruce Almighty, right? And Evan Almighty, right? So like when he's sitting there and he gets that and he's like, just put all the prayers in an email because I can't keep up with them, okay? Think about how many prayers God is like hearing and listening to and responding to or whatever. And he just says, Control, Alt, yes. And he says yes to all of them. So people are winning the lottery and people are this and people are surviving and all these crazy things are happening, right? And then you read this book and you have this other perspective where there's like this warehouse of answered prayers, but all these things are collected in this warehouse because people gave up. They stopped working for that goal, or they stopped praying for that goal or for the answers. And that almost kind of overwhelmed me a little bit, like reading that, because of how heavy that is. Think about people on your team that quit. I've been doing this for almost 7 years. That's a lot of people. And some of you are back, and I'm so thankful for that. I'm so glad that you see your potential and see your worth to do this again. But the contents of this warehouse are filled with the dreams and goals of the less courageous. So I feel like this needs to be our affirmation going into next week and for the rest of this week is I'm courageous, or I have courage, or however you want to say it. That is something I actually teach my kids. We say this to them. This is how we got them through swim lessons. This is how I got Gentry on that zip line at summer camp. I mean, you have to say it out loud. I have courage. We are in the business of sales. We are constantly rejected. And if you don't grab a hold of that mentality of being told no, which most of us are moms, so we say no all day long, but when we hear it, we're like, oh, how dare they, But we're moms and we say no all day long. So I just want you to think about that and tell yourself, every day, like wake up, write that down if you haven't, to write down and say aloud, I have courage, I am courageous. And someone asked in the chat, who were you just talking about earlier, my mindset coach, Preston Pugmire. He's an awesome dude, mindset coach I think he's in Utah, but super, super cool. So David is in this warehouse of unanswered prayers, and he's horrified. That's kind of how I felt reading the chapter, because he turns around and he sees these blankets and bicycles and homes and vacuum cleaners and car parts and medicines and vaccines and like all this stuff that the scientists gave up working towards that. And it was right there. And this mom stopped working towards that goal, and it was right there. And it's just like crazy, right? And he says, the time for that arrival of the goal has passed. It's gone. The opportunity is missed, and there are no second chances. And that's what the angel says to him, because him and his wife had these goals and dreams of having a boy and a girl, which they did end up having a daughter. But because David gave up, because he got behind the wheel and drove crazy and crashed his car and he almost died, he gave up, right? He let the overwhelming feelings take over. I wrote in all capital letters on my book, which I'll show y'all, it says, quit quitting. And I love saying that to people, because they're like, but if I quit quitting, I'm quitting something. And I'm like, yeah, but if you're quitting, so it's okay. And it's kind of like a little tongue tie, but I love that saying, because if we just would quit quitting, we would get one step ahead, like literally one step ahead. And Gabriel, from an angel's perspective, this is how Andy Andrews wrote the book. It says, as a human, you detour and ease off because you lack understanding. You quit because you lack faith. And David Ponder's like, understanding about what? He said, for one thing, you do not understand that constant detours do not bring a man into the presence of greatness. Detours do not build muscle. Detours do not provide life's lessons. Between you and anything significant will be giants in your path. Easing off does not make the going easier, neither does it guide one to the desired destination. Most men ease off when the going is rough, right? You get told no, your husband says he hates Plexus, your best friend tries another company. All those things make you just want to curl up and die inside, and you're like, man, like I can't do this. And that's what he's saying. He's like, times of calamity and distress have always been producers of the greatest men. The hardest steel is produced from the hottest fire, and the brightest star shreds the darkest night. And he repeats it again. Those who quit lack faith. I've said it a million times, and I'll say it again. If you need belief, borrow mine. If you need to see my paycheck from last month to see that it's really real, I'll send it to you. It's real. The work that you're doing matters. The people you talk to matter. I met a girl, Haley, which she's going to watch the recording of this, actually. And we met through social media. A friend referred her to me. She enrolls. We have this like special moment. She watched my Facebook Live last night in our team page. And she's like, did not know you from Adam, but I can totally relate to your story and your why. And I didn't even know I had a why. I didn't even know I wanted to work this business. But all of a sudden I feel like I need to because of what you shared last night. And I'm like, okay, like, let's do this. Okay. I was so excited. And I'm like, I get giddy, like, cause this is a complete stranger that was just like, I didn't know having a why was like a thing. Like, she just now got a Facebook. I know some of you are like, what? And it's just crazy. And it's because I had belief and I kept going. People, one of my favorite things, Chris McCole, he's an Emerald Ambassador. He's hysterical. He wrote a book about having an alcohol addiction and how it's called like The Day I Almost Died or something. I don't remember what it's called. Such a great book. Him and his wife co-wrote it. So it's like her version, his version, her version, his. It's really, 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 really funny and really deep and so good. But one of my favorite things that he has posted that encouraged me was, don't ask me how to quit. I don't know. I never did. Like when someone says, you know, hi baby girl, when they're like, how do I cancel my Plexus membership? I'm like, I don't know. I never did. Call customer service. Oh, all right. Well, I'm in the middle of something.
Have a light.
Yeah, that's awesome. It has a light. She had to show me that. But anyways, you lack the faith that produces greatness. So I want that to be one of your affirmations this week. I have courage and I have faith. I'm full of belief. Say these things to your family. Say them out loud. Say them in the mirror. And then something else that I want you to say, which might make you feel super uncomfortable because the first time I did it, it made me feel some type of way. But I want you to look in the mirror I want you to look in the mirror, and I want you to tell yourself, I love you, I forgive you, and I'm proud of you. Because sometimes we hold on to things and we haven't forgiven ourselves for them. Sometimes we don't like ourselves because we gave up on our health goals, or we let ourselves go, or we did something stupid and made a bad choice. And we say, I hate you all the time, but we don't even realize we're doing it. So tell yourself that you love yourself. And then lastly, tell yourself, I'm proud of you. Because what we do is hard. I mean, it's easy and awesome, but it's also really hard because it's sales and it's rejection and it's social sharing and marketing. And it's like a lot of little skill sets that you have to grow, and you have to flex those muscles and figure out how to be good and how to be different, how to stand out in your newsfeed, and how to talk about health in a compliant way, like all these things, right? So look yourself in the eyes, look in your car mirror, look in your cell phone selfie reflection and say, I'm proud of you. You can do hard things. You do hard things. And that's what I'm gonna leave you with tonight. So I encourage you to go back to your group chats tonight and go into our team page. If one of you wants to start the thread, that would be great. Just say, post your affirmations here. And share 3 to 5 things that you're gonna affirm all weekend and all into next week before our next Zoom on Thursday. But let's talk kindly to ourselves. Let's mention, I am proud of me. Like, for instance, Scott and I, we've been doing this for a while. We earned all the prizes for the Leaders Retreat contest on my position and on with his team and stuff. And I did not want to post that or announce it. And it's like weird because usually I'm like, yeah, post it. We did it. I'm like so excited, but I was like, no, like, let's not post it yet. Like, I felt braggadocious and I felt kind of weird. I'm like, I still have people like busting their heinies to earn it. And like, we're in the second month. A lot of you are going to earn this. I'm totally like full of belief for you. And I had like this weird moment, and I don't usually have moments like that. I'm pretty confident. So I'm like sitting there and I'm like, why do I feel that way? And I had to like kind of process that. So if there is something that you're not proud of, which most of you, it comes to posting on social media about plexus, you are allowed. I'm giving you permission. I don't know if you need to hear that, but you are allowed to talk about plexus. You are allowed to talk about your health. You are allowed to talk about how delicious your pink drink is. You are allowed to talk about ease and how your back pain's gone. I give you permission. And if you just needed to hear that to make that weird feeling go away, you have my permission to go there and talk about it and be excited. You're totally allowed to be excited because this is super cool. Like, what we do for a living in our pajamas on our cell phone is so awesome. Like, it's like a dream job. Like, come on. I worked in corporate America for years, busted my hiney so somebody else could go to Hawaii and play golf at lunchtime. And I sat there all day long behind a desk, like literally like this, thinking about having a baby, and thinking about moving, and thinking about building a house, and oh please, that was my life. And watching this other guy like win prizes and drive the fancy car, do all things, and just like, I've been there, guys. I've been in your shoes. I had to go silver once too, and I just did it again because we're on the same page. I'll race you guys to gold, all right? Like, I get it. But it starts with choosing happiness. And here's a hard one. This is a hard one, okay? I challenge you to choose confidence. I challenge you. There are some, like Rebel Wilson. Do y'all know who she is? She's an actress. She played Fat Amy in Pitch Perfect, right? She's hysterical. She's Australian, has a really cool story if you go read her whole story. And I just love her. She reminds me of my sister. My sister and her have like no filter, no tact. Like, they just say what they say and they mean it. And it's hilarious all the time. Unless you don't know her, then you're like, you're weird, but it's really funny. And so I love that she is just unapologetically herself, and that's why she's a comedian, right? Because she's funny and she just says what everyone else is thinking. So I challenge you this week to be confident, to choose confidence, because a lot of you have changed your health, and a lot of you have changed your attitudes and your energy levels and your workout routines. Like, a lot of those things have changed. Feel that. Nobody can take that confidence from you. Nobody. If you feel good, feel it. Sometimes we have all these emotions and we think that we can't feel them. Feel them. You're mad? Feel it. You want to cry? Feel it. Like Beyonce has that song, Feeling Myself, for a reason, and you are allowed to feel confident, okay? All right, before we wrap this up, does anybody have some wins they want to share? Karen Romero, I know you have one. Do you want to unmute yourself? I don't know if I have to. See if you can. There you go.
Well, I'm 100 points away from making it to Leaders Retreat, which I'm pretty sure as long as I get my rake up points, I'm there. I'm super excited, and I did earn it last year. Some of you heard that I said that I didn't, like it went woo. So I earned the trip to the cruise, and I had stuff going on in my life, so I took the money instead, which is absolutely amazing because it couldn't have come at a better time. So I'm super excited to actually go this year and be a part of it, and can't wait.
So for those of you that don't know, Leaders Retreat is not like convention. It's a trip you have to earn, and by doing it, you need a mixture of 4 customers with a $50 order, or 4 new level 1 ambassadors with a welcome pack, or like 1 customer and 3 ambassadors, or 3 customers and 1 ambassador, like a mixture of those things. That's how you qualify to earn it. And then you need 800 credits. So there's like a tracker. If you log into your virtual office and you scroll down, there's a tracker that tells you where you're at with credits. You get credits for ranking up, for getting new customers, getting new ambassadors, maintaining rank. Like, you get credits for lots of things. And so it's a huge deal. Congratulations, Taryn. We know you got it in the bag. I don't know if Lisa's on. I think she was, and she jumped off, but she earned it too. And the $200 cash prize. She's flown past 1,200 credits, but I'm just going to shout her out because she's not on here. Laura, do you want to share a win? You've had some things going on, girl.
Yeah, I've added 4 so far this month. Then I have one of my level 1s. We started doing that shout out post that I learned about on the training call on Monday, and so far she's gotten 1 new ambassador and 1 that's supposed to be signing up tonight.
Well, okay, that is awesome. Congratulations. So if you didn't know, every time you add a level 1 ambassador with a welcome pack, you get $20. She has earned $80 from helping 4 people sign up with their products. That's awesome. That's a cell phone bill for a teenager. Not me, but for a teenager. But that's so cool. Congratulations, Laura. Anybody else have a win they want to share? Megan? Maybe? Yes? No? Not yet? No? Summer got some plexus because she ran out. But she got some, right? Shake your head yes. I hope so.
Yes, my plexus should be here. I think it said Monday, and I cannot wait. I've been out of the Active, the Vita Bomb, and then I bought the Mega X for Zach. So I'm super excited for all that to come in.
Your mailman's all like, "What are you doing by your mailbox, Summer?" And you're like, "Give me the box." Yeah.
Why do you keep looking at your phone 10 times a day?
Yeah. I feel it. I know. I delivered samples. I had some extras. So, fun fact, this is what I was going to share. So a couple days ago, some of y'all even participated. I said, comment energy or comment active. And the last one to comment active. And when I say energy, I will send you a bag of active, right? Y'all saw my post. So what y'all didn't know is I was fishing for potentials to see who is actually interested, but never like messages me. And so from that post, I got over 10 potentials, and I sent them all a stick of active and a stick of Slim HC, and if they had kids, I threw in a Mega Kids sample because I had extra laying around because sometimes my kids love it and sometimes I'm the worst mom ever for making them drink it. Who knows? So I started passing out samples wherever. Well, I'm starting to have conversations with them. I'm like, hey, send me your address. Hey, I randomly selected winners for a free sample. Like, that's what they told them, which I basically did. And when I did that, they were like, oh my gosh, no way, thanks. I've been needing to message you. There is nothing more exciting than someone that says to you, I've been meaning to message you. And you're like, oh, tell me more. What do you want? And they want plexus, or they've been thinking about it and they just didn't know how to approach you. So I encourage you to have fun, like an end of summer post. If you want to make the investment to spend $25 on a bag of active to do a giveaway like that, and it doesn't have to be big. It could be a 7-day trial pack. It could be a challenge box. But like you say, you comment challenge, and when I comment box, I'll give one away. But have fun with that, and you will see who's been watching and like waiting for that freebie to give it a try. Girls that I did not get along with in high school that I forgot were on my Facebook commented. So, I mean, it's all the different types of people, y'all. It was super exciting, and I'm really having fun with these conversations. So I totally encourage y'all to make some sort of fun giveaway. A lot of you have private groups. You could totally do them in those groups if you don't do them on your Facebook. All right. Any other wins before we end this? Amanda? Anything? Any wins? I think there you go.
I just have the 1 ambassador so far, going for 2 more. Trying to reach gold. I gotta do it.
You're going to
this month.
This is it. This is the month. Amanda has been on our team for a little while, and I just kind of took her under my wing. Her leader stepped back, and I've just had so much fun getting to know her and like bring her out of her little bubble. If you haven't noticed about me, I have a tendency to do that to people. I'm like, you don't get to stay in a box. You have to come out of the box. I'm going to open the box and pull you out of it. So it's super fun. All right, you guys, thanks for getting on. I'll post this recording. Don't forget to share your affirmations in the team page or in the team chat. They're very important. They change your mindset and they help you to be more confident in your business, which leads to more success because confidence is contagious. I mean, why do y'all watch me talk on these Zoom things? I don't know. Maybe it makes you feel good, but it's because it works. So I love you guys. Super proud of y'all. I might do a giveaway for getting to 200 new ambassadors because we're like 9 away or something crazy. Like we're going to hit it before the weekend. It's so exciting. Y'all have a great night, and I will talk to y'all soon. Bye.